Assalamu alaikum dear viewers. Hope you are fine. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like my video then like, share and subscribe and also press the bell button. Let's start the video. Once upon a time in a small village there lived a kind-hearted girl named Naila. She worked diligently for a most unpleasant lady by the name of Mrs. Betsy, who had an even-mannered daughter, Daisy. Mrs. Betsy said, "Naila, cook faster, would you?" Her daughter Daisy said, "I am hungry." Mrs. Betsy said, "My poor Daisy is starving." Naila replied, "Yes, ma'am." Then they started eating food. Mrs. Betsy said, "This food is so bland. Naila, next time do us a favor and cook something that's edible." She replied, "Yes, ma'am." One day Naila were washing clothes. Then Mrs. Betsy said, "Aren't you done with the laundry yet? Hurry up, girl." She replied, "Yes, ma'am." Naila's life was full of misery and hardship, as she always felt unappreciated for the work she did. Naila lived with her grandmother and spent all her earnings in keeping her comfortable and happy. One day she was at home. She gave to her grandmother peats. The grandmother said, "Oh, peats, I love these. Thank you so much, my dear." One evening a certain furry guest entered their house. It was a beautiful Persian cat that strolled daintily into the living room. Daisy said, "Oh, mother, can we keep it?" Her mother replied, "No." Daisy said, "Please, please, mom." She replied, "Fine, but I'm not going to look after it." Daisy replied, "That's fine. Naila, fetch some food for the cat, will you?" But Naila was engrossed in looking at the cat. Except it wasn't a cat that she saw, but a princess dressed in the finest of clothes. Naila said, "Am I crazy? How is it possible that while I see a stunning princess, they see a cat?" Daisy shouted at Naila, "Food for the cat, Naila." Naila replied, "Yes, Daisy." Naila returned with a bowl of cream. Daisy said, "Took you long enough?" and gave the cream to a cat and said, "Here you go, kitty." But the cat refused to eat it. Daisy said, "Maybe she wants something else." They tried giving the cat many tasty things, but she refused them all. Mrs. Betsy said, "Leave her. Cats are temperamental. It will eat when it wants. Let's eat dinner, Naila. Go to lay the table." She replied, "Yes, ma'am." One day Naila was doing work. Then she heard a beautiful song. Naila went to find the source of the sound and saw the princess singing. The princess asked to Naila, "Oh, you can see me?" "I knew it." Naila replied, "I can, but they see cat." "I mean, what's going on?" Princess replied, "You seem like a nice person also. Since you can see me, it means you have a good heart. Tell you what, I will trust you." Naila replied, "Oh, great, I'd be the first person to win a cat's trust." "Sorry, that was a terrible attempt at humor." Princess said, "It most definitely was. Perhaps she'd be able to break my brother's spell too." Naila said, "Excuse me?" Then Princess replied, "Yes, introduction time. I'll go first. Obviously, my name is Maya. I'm a princess, which you can most definitely tell by my royal poise. I have been traveling under the guise of a cat." Again, obviously, Naila laughed and replied, "Yeah, sure." Princess said, "Why am I traveling under the guise of a cat?"" I'm trying to find my missing brother, who has been cast under an evil spell that has turned him into a Maltese cat. Naila replied, "Oh, yeah. Quite simple, actually. I should have figured it on my own. Sorry, I hope your brother is alright." Then Princess said, "My cat sense tells me he is fine. But to live as a cat can be dangerous. Not all humans are kind." Naila said, "Question, Your Highness?" Princess said, "You can call me Princess Maya." Naila said, "Oh, okay, Princess Maya, you are still a princess. Then why don't you use your guards and army and find your brother?" Princess replied, a curious mind, "I see well to answer your question. I snuck out because my uncle is an evil person and has taken over the throne after my father. We should have come to me or my brother. I think he is the one behind the evil spell that turned my brother into a cat. That's why I decided to sneak out and find him on my own and not attract unnecessary attention." "Simple?" Naila replied. "Keeps getting simples." Princess replied, "Yes, I know, but that's enough about me. Tell me, Naila, why do you work here to be treated so badly by these people?" Naila told her all about how she wanted to give her grandmother a comfortable life and those needed the money. Princess said, "That's all? Tell you what, I will help you." Naila replied, "You don't know how difficult it is to get a job around here." Princess replied, "We will see, but I had also need you to help me. In return," Naila replied, "I will try." Princess said, "Since you can see me, you will be able to see my brother also. I think once I find him, no matter in whichever part of the world, you will have to come with me to break his spell." And out into the night they went through the cold air. Then Princess opened the magic box and said to Naila, "Take these gold coins and give them to your grandmother. Now you won't have to work for that horrid lady anymore." Naila said, "What? For real?" Princess gave the gold to Naila and said, "Now the gold isn't gonna last forever. We need a permanent solution to your problem. Let's go to your house." The two of them soon reached Naila's little home, and by now it was dawn. Princess said, "I will wait outside. Don't want your grandmother to think you are crazy when you talk to me." Naila said, "All right, or you can sneak into my room through that window and I will see you there." Princess said, "All right." Naila met with grandmother and said, "See what I have got. Now we'll be able to live a very good life." And that day, when the sun was up and shining in its glory, the princess spoke to Naila. "Naila, what are these? Do you know how to sew?" She replied, "Of course, I love designing and sewing. It's my hobby." The princess opened a magic box of cloths and said, "Choose any of these materials." Naila replied, "These ones." Princess replied, "Good. Now close your eyes and think of that one thing that makes you happy." Naila closed her eyes and thought of the beautiful, resplendent quetzal bird taking flight. She smiled and opened her eyes. Naila said, "I thought of Princess." Replied, "I don't want to know. Just put your happy thoughts into your design." And that's what Naila did. In only a few days, she had sewn such marvelous dresses that she herself couldn't believe she had done them. Princess said, "Now we go to sell them." And so they went to the market where people noticed the stunning clothes. and grabbed onto them. By the end of the day, everything had been sold. Naila earned so much money. Naila soon started to do extremely well, and with the money she earned, built up her poor cottage into a pretty house and even kept a helper. She also opened up a lovely little shop for selling the clothes she sewed. Naila said, "Princess Maya, it's everything I ever wanted." Princess replied, "I am pleased to hear that. Well done, since I have kept my word. Will you now help me to break my brother's curse?" Naila replied, "Yes, of course, but how do we find him?" Princess said, "My cat sense is telling me that he is in the nearby kingdom. We must leave immediately." Naila nodded and hurried to her grandmother and said, "I'll need to leave the town for some days as I have to make a delivery to the next kingdom. Jessica will look after you." Naila and the princess set out for the neighboring kingdom. There they wandered around and tried to find the young cat prince. Princess said, "I can sense him. He is nearby." And then she had run after her brother. She had shouted, "I have found my brother. Naila, can you see him? Can you see his human form?" Naila replied, "Sorry, I can't see him. I can see a cat only." Princess started crying and said, "But you can see me in a human form. Please try again. Close your eyes and open them." Then Prince replied, "Sister, wait. She is too young to break my spell. My spell can be broken only by a person who has lived for more than 60 years with a kind and good heart." Princess Maya explained to Naila about the spell and how she had missed an important part. Naila replied, "Oh, I am sorry. I couldn't be of any help." Princess replied, "You have done a lot, Naila. I have found my brother finally. Now you must go back to your life. I wish you all the best." Naila said, "But I have become so fond of you." Princess replied, "Me too, Naila, but now I must go on my way and you yours." Naila said, "You know, I have made something for you, and I didn't know things would turn out to be like this. I thought we had go back to my house." The princess replied, "All right." And so the three of them returned to Naila's house. When they reached home, Naila's grandmother asked, "Who is this young man?" The grandmother could see the Maltese cat in his human form, and immediately the spell broke. The three of them rejoiced, and Naila carefully explained everything to her grandmother, who was quite surprised. And the Naila princess and the prince stayed as good friends for life. The prince claimed his throne back from the evil uncle and ruled the kingdom with his sister.